Cardinal Gerhard Müller says Europe is facing a deep crisis, not only politically, but spiritually. According to Müller, the West cannot survive if it completely abandons Christianity. In a recent essay, the German cardinal argued that Europe's identity was built on Christian faith. He said Europe was shaped by Christianity, Greek philosophy, and Roman ideas about justice and order. Without those foundations, he warned, Europe becomes a lifeless body. And when a civilization loses its spiritual identity, Müller believes it becomes weak and vulnerable. One of his biggest concerns is mass migration and the growing influence of Islamic communities in Europe. Müller argued that millions of migrants are entering Europe faster than many countries can integrate them. Instead of fully joining European society, he claims some communities are forming separate Islamic cultural systems inside Western nations. For Müller, this is not just about immigration policy. It is about whether Europe still believes in its own identity. He believes modern Europe has become deeply secular and disconnected from Christianity. And when a society no longer believes in its own values, it struggles to defend them. The cardinal also criticized what he described as globalist elites and growing bureaucratic control coming from institutions in Brussels. He warned about surveillance systems, weakening national identities, and what he called an Orwellian political culture. To explain the danger, Müller referenced both George Orwell and Aldous Huxley. He argued that modern society increasingly tries to control people not only through politics, but also through culture, technology, and ideology. Müller also connected today's problems to the Enlightenment and the rise of secularism in the modern West. According to him, many Enlightenment thinkers viewed Christianity as outdated and believed science and human reason alone could build a perfect society. Over time, Müller said, this created a humanism without God. In this worldview, religion becomes something private, weak, or even unnecessary. But the cardinal believes this experiment has failed. Instead of creating peace and unity, he says modern secular societies are becoming more divided, more confused, and more vulnerable to authoritarian thinking. One of Müller's strongest warnings was about relativism. He argued that when societies stop believing in objective truth, eventually power replaces truth. And when truth disappears, ideology takes control. According to Müller, this creates a new kind of dictatorship, not always through violence, but through pressure, propaganda, censorship, and social conformity. He warned that people are increasingly told what they are allowed to think, say, and believe. At the same time, he criticized Western governments for promoting progressive social values around the world while ignoring deeper spiritual and moral problems. Müller also reflected on global conflicts and social instability. Many people, he said, think today's crises are mainly about money, resources, or political power. But he believes the deeper struggle is spiritual. The real battle is for the human soul, he argued. For Müller, the solution is not simply stronger governments or better technology. It is a return to God. He believes true human dignity, freedom, and peace can only survive when societies recognize that human beings are created by God and share a common moral foundation. Without that foundation, he warns, freedom eventually becomes unstable. And when societies lose both truth and faith, they often become easier to control.